Belmar Central Falcons are off to a 2-0 start. Chatting here with head coach Chris Mensink. And coach, Saturday night you got a 41-18 win over Blooming Prairie. What were the takeaways after you watched the film of that one?
Well, like we talked about earlier, they're a very good football team, so we're very happy to get out of there with a 41-18 win. I think the keys to the football game is we had 3 takeaways, so we're +3 in that department again. Haven't had a turnover yet, knock on wood, this year, so that's a big stat. When you can take care of the ball and take it away, I think you're going to put yourself in good position. We got off to a good start in our first 3 possessions and scored on our first 3 possessions, so we jumped out to a 20-0 lead. Second quarter, both teams kind of were back and forth. They did get a score on us in the second quarter, but to take a 20-6 lead and into halftime was a big thing. And then we won the third and fourth quarters as well. So I think the big takeaway too is our kids had a great week of preparation. I told them that they won that game Saturday night and in their prep on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They were locked in all week. They knew it was a big football game, and they rose to the challenge there at home.
You mentioned the start you got off to 20-0 on week number 2, and you got to a 12-0 lead in week number 1 against Hayfield. Obviously, you'll take that, getting those 2 score leads early. What do you credit that to?
Well, we were a little concerned Saturday night. I wasn't planning on rain, and it looked like we might have some rain coming in, and I always like to defer and kick so we get the ball the second half. But we ended up getting the ball right out of the gate because the weather was going to be a little bit iffy. But our kids responded in a 3-play drive, 74-yard touchdown play. So what a great start there. So the weather for the most part, it missed it a little bit, but it wasn't a factor at all in the game. And like I told our kids, we can't control that. You just have to, expect that that's going to happen. And when it does happen, you knew it was going to happen. And just, still got to be able to block. We still got to be able to tackle. We still got to be able to run the ball and throw the ball. So, and take care of it. So, I think, I think the scouting and the kids' preparation and getting off to that fast start has been a huge thing for us first 2 weeks.
And the passing game was there again last week. Chase Christensen, 5 touchdowns from his 11 completions and 339 yards, hitting 4 different receivers. And obviously a great night for Jace Keeney catching the football, 5 catches, 237 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So what about your passing game has made it click through the first 2 weeks?
Well, I think Chase's ability to spread the ball around, right? We have multiple guys that can catch the ball. We have a lot of speed on the perimeter and be able to utilize those guys and recognize what they're trying to take away and get the ball where it needs to go. So Chase threw some real dynamite balls. He put the ball in the numbers to Luke on a fade and to Greg Kennedy in the corner of the end zone. And of course, Jace had a couple of nice catches, and then Kyle Daniels out of the backfield as well. Being able to, when they're trying to take away the long stuff, be able to pick and come underneath and get guys out of the backfield and things like that as well, and make people cover the whole field. So that's our job as coaches, to put kids in positions to be successful. And I think Chase made good decisions with the football. He underthrew a couple, but we were able to either knock those down, or at least it didn't turn into a, I always say when you throw the ball, there's 3 things that could happen, and 2 of them are bad. So an incompletion, we'll take that over the interception. But 11 for 19 is pretty efficient with 5 touchdowns. When half of your throws are going for touchdowns, that's pretty good efficiency for a high school quarterback.
You just touched on your offense. You touched on your defense earlier as well. You also got a punt return touchdown from Jace Keeney. Always good to make those special teams special, correct?
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. We always say those are some of the most important plays. And not only that, they're big momentum plays. So if you field positions is a big deal in the game of high school football. So to be able to execute in the kicking game and the return game, Jace's punt return did get called back for a block in the back. Jace is pretty shifty back there, and he changes directions a lot. So we have some things to clean up and to work on there, but definitely he's a threat when he touches it back there as well. And we focus a lot on those aspects of the football game in practice each week.
And this week at 2-0, you'll head over to Faribault. You'll take on Bethlehem Academy. What's the scouting report on them?
Well, obviously we played them twice, and we played them in a section final last year. So going to their place where we went last year as well on a hot Saturday afternoon last year, I'm sure they're going to be well prepared and ready for us. They returned some guys. Their quarterback is back. They got some shifty kids out on the outside, number 3 at linebacker, and they've got a couple big linemen. So again, they're going to be one of the favorites to come out of the section and the district. So we have another tough test ahead of us in this week.
And we touched on last week, it was probably a good thing to have a Saturday night game with the odd week of getting back into school and Labor Day on Monday. Now you got to adjust to it again, having a Saturday game to a Friday game. What type of adjustments do you make with this week's schedule?
Right. Well, we have a JV game tonight. So Saturday night, we had a lot of kids that played a full game, which wasn't the case the week before. So we still have some pretty sore kids come Monday. So we're going to get a good lift in and get some of that lactic acid out tonight and get some film work in while our JV's going over to Blooming Prairie tonight. But we're going to have to get ready to strap it up. Like I said, a short turnaround with our 2 big practices, Tuesday, Wednesday, and walkthrough on Thursday, and then leaving early, of course, for long bus ride. It's almost an hour and 45 minutes over there. So we'll be leaving early on Friday to get over there for that contest. So yeah, our kids are going to have to take care of their bodies. And it looks like Friday night might be the hottest day of the week again. It looks like high of 77 on Friday. So we did have a few cramping issues on Saturday night. So we're going to definitely have to focus on our bodies and getting those ready to play and hydrating all week long this week.
Right, Coach. Hopefully that our 45 bus ride home Friday night is a happy one. Keep your kids healthy. We wish best of luck.
Thanks, Darren.
Chris Mensink, head coach of the Fillmore Central Falcons. They'll try to go to 3-0 this week as they head over to Bethlehem Academy.